Hi. I got a text the other day, and after reading it triggered something in me to bring up the topic of instilling fear in other people. So what happened was, I got this message. I don't know if you can see it or not. Okay, so the message said, "God showed me a revelation about you, my friend." So when I first received it, I just thought, this is going to be somebody who's heading down the path of they're going to probably ask me for some money to take a curse off me or something like that. So I just sent a little love heart back. And in the next message that I got was, "God wants to bless you this month and give you a breakthrough." Followed by the next message, which said, "The devil, I saw this, and wants to cut your life short through a car accident. Please pray against a car accident." So it was at that point that I then deleted and blocked that person, because that is just instilling fear into people. Luckily, I'm not somebody who lives in a state of fear, because it's my belief that we will die on the day that we're meant to die. And whether I pray and pray and pray and pray that my life is not cut short, I don't know that I can actually stop it. And if I'm to live till I'm 90, a message like that is also not going to stop my life. It is just to instill fear into somebody. Which brings me to the subject of, quite often in a reading, people will ask a psychic in a reading, they will ask, "Can you see what's going to happen with my health, or what's going to happen with the health of a relative?" And I have been asked before, "Can I see when a relative's going to pass away?" So the answer to that question is yes, I can, but I won't share that answer, because what are you going to do to stop it? And I kind of understand there's different people will ask that question. They want to know when somebody's going to die, to one, see if they can somehow stop it. There is some kind of belief in the mind that if I know what's going to happen, I can stop it. I can get them to the right help. I can direct them to the right areas. I can somehow stop it if I know it's going to happen. Or another reason they're finding out, or they're asking that question, is to protect their own emotions so they can prepare themselves. So if they know that they've got a certain amount of time before someone's going to pass, they can process the emotions. Even though you can process and be ready, it's still not going to be able to help you deal with the actual event of happening. But it can ease things a little bit if you aren't shocked, because you know the difference in if someone just suddenly rings up out of the blue and says someone just died, and you had no warning, and they were not ill, or it was an accident or something like that. The shock that hits your body, nobody wants to go through that kind of feeling of shock. So to ask the question is more trying to prepare yourself with your own emotions. But I've heard different circumstances where people have been and had a astrological reading or a psychic reading, or had their cards done, and the reader has given the information that somebody is going to die on a particular day or month, or they've only got 6 months to live. Personally, I see absolutely no value in putting fear into somebody else's mind like that. And my personal opinion on that is the reader is operating from their own ego to say, look how great I am, a psychic. I predicted when someone was going to die, without considering one moment the feelings of the client. because I can't see the value in knowing something just to stress yourself out. And who says they're going to be right? What if they predict that somebody's going to pass, and you worried yourself silly for months and months and months or years leading up to that date, trying to do things in your life just to fit everything in before that date, and the date comes and goes and it never happened, and you put all that wasted time into worry when something never ever happened? And can you then go back to that reader and make them accountable for what they put you through? Because you should be able to. That's inflicting worry onto another person when it's not warranted. So I've had a situation where a lady did ask me. She was in Australia, and her relative who was dying, who was very, very ill, was in another country. So her question, she did ask me when her relative was going to die, purely for the reason she wanted to know when was the right time to fly there, because I know a lot of people suffer with terrible feelings of guilt if they are not present when someone has passed, because that, again, is an emotion that they are dealing with themselves. So if they feel like they wanted to go and be with somebody on their passing, and they couldn't get there, maybe they were held back, they were blocked, they couldn't fly there, something happened where they couldn't be around their relative when they passed, their relative does not go to the other side blaming them, because, as I've explained before, a soul comes from a loving place. A soul is forgiving and accepting. It's only the person left here on earth that has all the emotions. So it's only the particular person here that may have missed the passing of somebody that feels the guilt, because in their mind they're going to go over, I should have been there, they're not going to forgive me, and it's just something you're doing to yourself. They always forgive you. They always understand. And I also believe there is a reason why sometimes you miss being there at someone's death, because your higher consciousness realizes you're not going to be able to deal with those emotions. As much as you feel like you want to be there, your higher self knows that would be more destroying to your emotions to be there than had you not been there. But you're just looking at it from a point of guilt, rather than looking at it from a point of, my emotions were being protected because it was going to be far worse for me to deal with to be there and witness a passing than it was for me to not be there. So with the lady that needed to go overseas, I would not tell her the exact date of her mother's passing, but I gave her a timeline of when she could be there, and in between that timeline would be the right time for her to be there. So it's not always straightforward, as in, this is the way I want it to be. Sometimes it'll unfold the way it has to be, because we don't always understand what our emotions are going to be able to handle and what our emotions are not going to be able to handle. So if you ever get another thing with that lady sending me a text explaining to me that my life's going to be cut short in a car accident if I don't pray, I personally have, if I've ever had a flash vision of something happening to somebody, I've never taken it upon myself to then find that person and send them a text and tell them something negative and fearful for my own gratification. Like, what are they getting out of that? I know if I had have continued to answer those text messages, it would have got down to a point of them asking me to pay them some money to take a curse off me, and that's all it is. They're just playing on fear. So be very careful in reacting to fear. Be very careful when you do go and if you do seek a reading out from somebody else and they give you very distressing information that is not going to be stopped anyway. If it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. Telling you is not going to stop it. It's only just going to make you worry. And a really good reader will bring you comfort and hope and love and not instill fear into you. But it's your choice. Some people absolutely they would love to know that. I don't know why you would love to know things you can't control. Maybe there is something inside you that thinks you can control it. Maybe you think you can play God. I don't know. I don't know why you'd want to know things that are out of your control, but each to their own. But I just find it very disturbing that somebody out there would want to instill fear and panic into somebody for no particular reason at all, unless they are feeding something within their own ego. So just be careful with things like that. A spirit will give you information if they have information that's going to help you prevent something. Yes, most definitely, they will give you information if. In a reading, if there is something that's in your health that can prevent it and stop you from having a long term of suffering, they most definitely will step in with not a warning. They will give information on which direction to go to get help or what you can do for your own health. But sometimes when it's just going to go down that path and in a reading, when I've seen it, if I've seen somebody's relative is going to pass, I won't tell them that. Why would I want to just upset their life like that? Maybe what will come through, the guides will say something like, you just need to band together as a family and help each other out in the future, because they know what's going to happen, but they just don't want to put that panic into somebody when you're not going to be able to stop it from happening anyway. So I just thought I would share that with you. And life's not meant to be us just continually worrying all the time about things that are out of our control. I think it's something like 97% of things that you worry about are never ever going to happen. It's just wasted energy. So I just thought I'd share that with you as the topic came up when I got that text. So thank you.